This video is for those who are English language lovers, for those who want to beautify and ornament their language with the figures of speech in their writing as well as in their. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Samreen Abbas and today's topic is figures of speech. These are different types of figures of speech. I will define each figure of speech along with the suitable and easy example that you can understood perfect. We have laid stress upon the qualities of simplicity and directness in writing because they are of the first importance, in which untrained writers are most likely to fail. They feel that in order to write well, they must employ unusual and high-sounding words. But we must remember that words are only to be used for the sake of sense, keeping in mind that the only real use of words is for the expression of thought. I wish you now to consider how the thought may be expressed with spatial clearance, force, and beauty by the use of figures of rhetoric. It is a form of expression that departs in some way from direct and literal statement. Figurative and ordinary language may be both accurate and true to nature, but whereas one is bare presentation of truth, the other is the truth aglow with color, beauty, and life. I will explain each figure of speech along with the example, not simile but simile. A comparison is made between two objects or events of different kinds which have at least one point in common. For example, the news spread like wildfire. Wildfire और news को compare किया जा रहा है. Second one is metaphor. Though a simile says that a thing is like another. In a simile, a comparison is made using two words. One is like, another is. But a metaphor denotes a thing is just the same as another. In a metaphor, a comparison is made without using the words like and is. For example, life is a dream. Another is the camel is the ship of the desert. Next one is personification. Personification. In this figure of speech, the inanimate or dead objects and abstract notions are spoken of as having life. For example, when she was singing, the mountains sing together, the hills rejoice and clap hands. Next one is apostrophe or apostrophe. It's a special form of personification. It is a direct address to the dead, absent, or personified object or idea. For example, I felt like the food kept calling me. Next one example is the flowers dance to the wind. Hyperbole or exaggeration. Hyperbole भी कहते हैं लेकिन hyperbole or exaggeration. In this figure of speech, a statement is made emphatic by overstatement. For example, it's an example from poetry, Shakespeare's tragic drama, Hamlet. He says, I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up the hyperbole or exaggeration में ऐसे होता है कि statement कोई बयान कोई बात की जाती है जो over statement होती है बढ़ा चढ़ा के बात को बयान. Next one is euphemism. It's a description of unpleasant things by pleasant name. For example, he was gathered to his forefathers. Simply इसका मतलब है he died. जो simple ordinary language होती है उसमें हम क्या कहते हैं he died. और देखें figures of speech में हम क्या कहते हैं कि he was gathered to his forefathers. वो अपने अब्बा व अजदाद से जा मिला. Next one is antithesis. A contrast of words or sentiments is made in the same sentence. For example, united we stand, divided we fall. Oxymoron is a special form of antithesis. In this figure of speech, we use two contradictory qualities for one and same object in a sentence. For example, the boy is regularly irregular. Epigram. It's a brief saying or poem which expresses an idea in a very clever and amusing way. For example, no one is completely unhappy at the failure of his best friend. Next example is, it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Another figure of speech is irony, which is also known as sarcasm. According to irony, the real meaning is exactly the opposite of that which is literally conveyed. For example, you are indeed a very fine friend to leave me in my troubles. Next one is pun. The use of a word that has two meanings or different words that sound the same. The object being to produce a ludicrous effect. a humorous effect. For example, I wondered why the ball was getting bigger than it hit me. For example, broken pencils are pointless. Metonymy. Greek word meta means before. Onama means a name. Metonymy means a change of name. In metonymy, we don't name a thing directly but suggest it by naming some other closely connected with it. For example, seek from the cradle to the grave, that is, from infancy to death. Next example is the pain is mightier than the sword. Is it clear? Tautology. In this figure of speech, there is an unnecessary repetition of word to express the same idea. For example, he again regained his property. Pathetic fallacy. In this figure of speech, inanimate objects or dead objects are spoken of as having life with feelings. For example, all the nature wept at his death, and the flowers were filled with tears. Transferred epithet. In this figure of speech, an epithet is transferred from its proper word to another that is closely associated with it in a sentence. For example, I passed a sleepless night. Next example is I passed an anxious night. What I mean is that I was anxious. In note that the night itself was anxious. नाइट एंशियस नहीं थी, मैं एंशियस थी. बट फिगर ऑफ स्पीच का देखें ब्यूटी और उसका जो ऑर्नामेंटल इफेक्ट है वो देखें कि आई पास्ट इन एंशियस नाइट तो नहीं होती, मैं एंशियस थी, नाइट नहीं थी. नाइट को कोई फीलिंग थोड़ी होती है. नेक्स्ट वन इज क्लाइमैक्स. इट इज derived from climax, a ladder like structure. In this figure of speech, the sense rises by successive steps to what is more and more important and impressive. For example, some books are to be tested, others swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. ये फ्रांसिस बेकन के आफ्टर स्टडीज में से एक पोएट्री की लाइंस हैं. वर्ड्स को इस तरह से सक्सेसिव स्टेप्स में बयान किया जाता है, इंपॉर्टेंट और इम्प्रेसिव लगता है. Some books are to be tested. कुछ बुक्स ऐसे हैं कि जस्ट आपको टेस्ट करने हैं, जो आप कंटेंट देखें और पढ़ें. Others swallowed. कुछ ऐसे बुक्स हैं जो आपको पढ़ने चाहिए, which are important, but not with greater diligence. Or they should be read by from the notes made by others. And some few to be chewed and digested का मतलब है कि बुक्स जो हैं कुछ ऐसे हैं जो chewed and digested करने चाहिए, मतलब सारे go through करने चाहिए, हर each and every topic जो है वो आपको उसका क्लियर होना. एंटी क्लाइमैक्स इज अपोजिट टू क्लाइमैक्स. एंटी क्लाइमैक्स में जो सेंस है उसको लेट डाउन किया जाता है थॉट और इमोशंस को. इट्स अ सडन डिसेंट फ्रॉम हायर टू लोअर, chiefly used for the purpose of satire or ridicule. For example, on the same day he lost his wife, his dog, and a three-penny bit. Paradox. It's a statement which apparently seems absurd but contain a truth. For example, there is no one so poor as a wealthy miser. Next example is the child is the father of the man. Next one figure of speech is litotes, which is also known as meiosis. It's opposite to hyperbole. In litotes, affirmative is conveyed by negation of the opposite, the effect being to suggest a strong expression by means of a weak, or the use of a negative before some other word to indicate a strong affirmative in the opposite direction. For example, I rather like this book. It means I have enjoyed it. Or I'm not a little surprised. इसका मतलब है कि I'm greatly surprised with it. From it. Alliteration. It's a repetition of similar consonant sounds in the successive words. This is frequent in poetry but no longer good figure in prose. For example, a strong man is struggling with the storms of fate. इसमें जो similar consonant sound है वो S का sound है. Strong, struggling, storm. Interrogation, also known as rhetorical question. It's an asking of a question, not for the sake of getting an answer, but to put a point more effectively. For example, am I my brother's keeper? Next one is exclamation. In this figure of speech, the exclamatory form is used to draw greater attention to a point that a mere veiled statement of it could do. For example, how sweet the moonlight sleeps upon this bank. The last one is snack donkey. In snack donkey, a part is used to designate the whole, or the whole is used to designate a part. इसके दो हिस्से हैं, मतलब कभी कभी एक पार्ट यूज किया जाता है पूरे होल को डिजाइनर करने के लिए, शो करने के लिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, गिव अस दिस डे आवर डेली ब्रेड, दैट इज आवर food. और कभी कभी the whole is used to design it apart. For example, England won the first test match against Australia. इसमें England का मतलब है the English cricket team. Is it clear? I hope all the figures of speech are clear to you. If you are new to my YouTube channel, do subscribe to it, like and share as well. Thank you.